Hello everyone, we are from Group 4 English Phonetics and Phonology Class D. Today we are going to present Chapter 5 Phonetic Transcription. It consists of 6 people. The first is Muhammad Alan, and then Linda Wulanika, and then Lady Khairunnisa, and me, Pricillia Rizkyna, and then Merlina, Dewi Khairunnisa, and Berlian, Putri, Bintang, Surga.
Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Lady Khairunnisa Adiyani, and in this opportunity, I want to tell you about introduction. Okay, people often confuse sound and letter. Indonesians, as the English language learners, for instance, usually assume at the first that the word fish consists of 4 sounds due to the rhythm form of fish consisting of 4 letters F, I, S, and H. Okay, the second is the mix between sound and spelling. So the word fish actually consists of 3 sounds. Okay, next. Okay, this is about EPA. In phonetics, we need symbol to represent the sounds. We call that symbol as phonetic symbol that can represent all speech sounds in all human language. This is the International Phonetic Alphabet or EPA. Next. Okay, so the sound of the word fish is represented by the symbol that are inserted between square brackets F, I, and S. Instead of ordinary spelling, the use of such phonetic transcription is very helpful for various purposes, including teaching pronunciation and reading, because the English writing system does not always give a reliable guide to pronunciation. Okay, now I want to tell you about the transcription of pronunciation is beneficial for. Okay, the first one is it is beneficial for the study of accent or dialectology. The second is the first and second language acquisition. And the third is the language impairment. And the fourth is speech errors. And the last is the conversation analysis. Okay, for the valid analysis, an accurate transcription of a conversation or the recorded data is needed. Slight differences in the pronunciation of words might be overlooked in the most situation. Those slight differences are likely to occur because of the different person or the same person, but the different occasion or context. Okay, now I want to tell you about the transcription can be done. The first is phonetically. The second is phonemically or phonologically, and the third, it can be done orthographically. Next. Okay, in phonetic transcription, the phonetic symbol are used and inserted between square brackets. The phonetic symbols used are the International Phonetic Alphabet or EPA, modified by the International Phonetics Association, which was founded in 1886. Okay, the second is in phonemic or phonological transcription. The phonemic symbols are used and inserted between slash. And the last is the orthographical transcription. The data are transcribed based on writing convention of a particular language. Well, okay. After that, I want to explain about International Phonetic Alphabet, specifically about consonant pulmonic. Okay, basically, pulmonic consonants are consonants that depend upon an aggressive, outward flowing airstream originating in the lungs. Okay, now I'm going to present the consonant according to the place of articulation. Okay, let's start with the bilabial consonant. Pa, apa, ba, abba, ma, amma, pra, abra, va, ava, va, ava. Okay, after that is labiodental consonant. Ma, amma, va, ava, fa, ava, va, ava, wa, awa. Okay, let's continue with the dental, alveolar, and postalveolar consonant. Ta, atta, da, ada, ta, atta, da, ada, na, ana, ra, ara, ra, ara. Sa, asa, za, azza, sla, asla, shla, ashla, ra, ara, la, ala. Sa, asha, za, aza. Next is a retroflex consonant. Ta, ata, da, ada, na, ana, ra, ara, sha, asha, za, aza, ra, ara, la, ala. Now come to palatal consonant. Ca, aca, ja, aja, nya, anya, sha, asha, ja, aja, ya, aya, ya, aya. Okay, we continue with the velar consonant. Ka, aka, ga, aga, nga, anga, ha, aha, wa, aga, ra, ara, la, ala. Okay, next come to uvular consonant. Ka, aka, ga, aga, nga, anga, ra, ara, ha, aha, ga, aga. After that is pharyngeal consonant. Ha, aha, ga, aga. And finally is the glottal consonant. A, aka, ha, aha, ha, aha. Okay, that's all my explanation about the International Phonetic Alphabet about consonant pulmonic.
Let's talk about the other symbols. To be honest, the epiglot of consonant, I don't really know how to produce them. If you want, you can check on Wikipedia or some other page. I prefer to not to pronounce them wrongly. Okay. Hua, ahwa, wa, awa, ga, aga, sha, asha, ja, aja, ha, aha, sa, atsa, pa, akpa.
Next, the consonant non-pulmonic. The first is click.
Nga, anwa, nya, anya, nga, anya, nga, anga, nya, anya.
We continue with the implosive symbols.
Ba, abba, da, ada, ga, aga, ga, aga, ba, aga.
Next come the adjective. Not adjective are marked by a little apostrophe behind the consonant.
Pa, abba, ta, ada, ka, akha, sa, adza. Next.
We have reached the vowel. I'm going to present first the unrounded and then the rounded counterpart. I'm going to start with the front vowels. These vowels I'm going to pronounce short and then long, the front vowel.
I, I, the central vowel. Please note that central vowel are by far the most difficult to pronounce, so please don't to be strict with my pronunciation of those. The central vowels.
The back vowel, I'm going to first pronounce the rounded version and then the unrounded counterpart because the rounded ones are much more common. That was my explanation regarding the table of IPA consonant non-pulmonic.
Okay, I'm Pricillia Rizkyna. I want to explain about diacritics table. Yes, as you can see in the screen, it's a diacritics table. Diacritics may be placed above a symbol within the center. Let's begin with voice list. Na, and then ta, za, ta, ta, and then rotisserie, r, ba, and then wrist, ra, ara, wa, awa, ta, apa, da, ata, akka, okta, ta, ata, da, ada, na, adna, la, apla, up, and then Polaris of Khairunnisa, la, alpha, and then next slide. This is suprasegmental. There are primary stress, extra secondary stress like pronunciation, and then a, and then tone, level tone, a, and then Catur, the example, Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nisa. I will explain about type of phonetic transcription. Phonetic transcription is fall into two, narrow transcription and broad transcription. Narrow transcription, the sounds are transcribed in a very detailed way regarding dialectical details and peculiarities of speaker. And then Narrow transcription, it is include diacritics or additional mark to refine the description of the consonant or the vowels. Narrow transcription has advantage. It can help learners to get exactly the right sound and allow linguists to make detailed analysis of language variation. And then there is disadvantage of narrow transcription. It is rarely representative of all speakers of a language, and it involves a large number of symbols that may be unfamiliar to non-specialists. Next, this is the example of narrow transcription. Most American and Australian would realize the th of little as a tab, and then some people in the southern England would realize the th as a glottal stop or the second L as wool or something similar. And then the word little may be transcribed as little, in which is dark or velarized, or little with the final S, which is unvelarized. Next, the second type is broad transcription. Broad transcription is the sound are transcribed without including the details that might be language specific or speaker specific. One particular form of broad transcription is phonetic transcription that disregards all phonic difference and show a representation of phonemic structure as implied by the name. And then broad transcription, there is advantage. It is usually dictionaries use broad transcription to aid language learner looking up pronunciation offered in dictionary. And then usually broad transcription allows statement to made which apply across more diverse language community. Next, this is the example of broad transcription. So the word put in narrow is put or put or put, and then in the broad is put. And then sit. The word sit in narrow is sit or sit or sit, and in the broad is sit. Next, okay, this is the IPA symbol for English consonant. So the first is bilabial. In the oral stop, there is p and b, and then in nasal, there is and then in the labiodental, in the fricative, there is of, and then of, and then in the dental, there is ta and the, and then in alveolar, in the oral stop, there is ch and j, and then in the nasal, there is n. In the fricative, there is sh and s, and then in the central approximant, there is r, and then in the lateral approximant, there is l. In the post-alveolar, in the fricative, there is sh and z. In the affricative, there is ch and j. In the palatal, there is y. In the velar, in the oral stop, there is k and g. And then in the nasal, there is In the approximant, there is w. In the glottal and oral stop, there is t. And then in the fricative, there is k.
Okay, hey guys, my name is Wulanika, and here I want to explain to you about the alternative symbols of phonetic symbols, IPA symbols for RP vowels and IPA symbols for GA vowels. Okay, first we are going to discuss about alternative symbols that North American linguists often use. They use several symbols that are different than those that make up the IPA, so here they are. First, the sh sound. We know that the phonetic symbol of sh sound is like as you can see on the screen. And the alternative symbol of it, we can write the uncapitalized alphabet S with a little curve or checklist above it. Next is j sound. The alternative way to write it is by using the uncapitalized letter Z, and same as the previous example, we add a little curve above it. The alternative way or symbol to write the ch sound is by using the alphabet C with a little curve above it. And the next alternative way to write phonetic symbol for j sound is just using the letter J. For O sound, we use alternative symbol by using capital letter of U. And the last is Y sound. The alternative way to write it is by using the uncapitalized letter Y. Okay, next slide. Now we move on to the next discussion regarding to IPS symbols for RP vowels and GA vowels. For some of you who don't know about RP and GA vowels, RP stands for Received Pronunciation or British Received Pronunciation, whereas GA stands for General American. Here we have some word examples for RP vowels. First example, hit. The E sound is pronounced longer because it has colon after letter I in its phonetic symbol. Next, we have hit. It's also pronounced longer. Next is the U sound for shoe. O sound for boot. The A sound for bay. The O sound for boat. The E sound or schwa sound for the first sound in ago. The S sound in bed. The sound in bird, so it is stressed in English. Next, the A sound for cup. Next, the O sound for so. The E sound for head. The I sound for by. The A sound for hard. And the last is O sound for pot. Next, IPA symbols for GA vowels. So here we categorize the tongue height. There are high, mid, and low. And there are positions of the tongue, front, central, and back. First, the word bit is on the front area of the tongue, and the height of the tongue is high. Second, there is also the word bit that is pronounced in the front area, and the height of the tongue is in the middle of high and mid. The word bait, it is in the front area of the tongue, and the height is mid. The word bed, the height of the tongue is in the middle of mid and low. The word bed is almost pronounced in the central area of the tongue and using low tongue. Next, the word rosa is using central area of the tongue and is pronounced with mid to low tongue. The word but using central to back area of the tongue and is almost pronounced in low. And the last is the word boot, put, boat, bore, and bump is pronounced rounded in the back area of the tongue, and the height of the tongue is high to low in a row. Okay, that is all for me. The next explanation is regarding some tips in transcribing that will be explained by my partner Bebe. The time is yours, Bebe.
Okay, thank you, Linda. So we're arriving at the almost end of our presentation. I'm Berlian Putri Surga and my student number is 207. I'm going to explain about some tips in transcribing. The first tip is use coherent symbols as the lecturer suggests. Because of the rather large difference in British and American schools and use of pronouncing dictionaries to make sure that the dictionary uses the same set of phonetic symbols. The second tip is make sure you distinguish U from U, schwa from A. And the third is the letter X is usually transcribed as kiss. Example in word inbox. It's not inbox with X, but it's written in inbox using KS. X does exist in English, but it is rarely used only for foreign words. And the fourth is use K instead of J for the voiceless filler stop and Y rather than Y for the palatal approximant. And there is the last thing about the tips in transcribing. It is pay attention to the unpronounced around in the word. For instance, the post-vocalic R in standard British English is not pronounced. In example, here in British it's not using R, so it is not transcribed unless followed by a vowel. Example, here and now, so it's use R. And the last thing about our presentation is about the summary. So phonetic transcription is made by inserting the international phonetic alphabets between square brackets. For a very detailed explanation concerning the language-specific or speaker-specific, narrow phonetic transcription is used by the Edison diacritics. And that's all from the fourth group, our explanation about the phonetic transcription. We are saying thank you and sorry if there are any mistakes in our pronunciations or our explanations. Have a good day and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.